Woo, all right, welcome everyone to another Mando Lessons live. As you might notice, we've got Noah Fishman in my house.
Howdy.
Literally. He's back for the weekend. Surprise visit. Excited to have him here. Let's see what we got in the chat. We got Manos, Lewis,
Hey.
Denise.
Hi, Denise.
Lawrence, Dan's Tune, Shari, Judah, Patrick, Sheldon, Errol, Antoine, Gary, Matthew, James, K Costa 380, Student Says. I like that one. Welcome, everybody. If this is your first time, there's a lot of familiar names here. And if you're new here, though, the way this works is usually it's just me, but today it's Noah and I.
Oh, you're messing things up for Baron.
Yeah, so if you don't know Noah, we just put out, a year ago now, put out an album that you can find through links in the description and on my website and stuff, and on Noah's website, noahfishmanmusic.com.
That's true. And not only that, we just did a little tour out in Michigan where we hung out with a few of you, particularly Lewis and Denise.
Yeah.
We had a ball, so it's my special treat to be here hanging out with Baron.
It always takes a little while to catch up with the chat, but the way these work is it just kind of nice, relaxed time to ask some questions. We'd love to answer anything that's on your mind. We'll do requests as long as we know them and they're in the public domain. So don't hold back on the request, but we may not be able to do it if it's something that's copyrighted.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis says, I was thinking about the Patreon visit on Monday, and you were talking about just being looked at, and it's given your turn to shine. Since I sing a bit, I get to give out a few looks myself. Yeah, we were talking a little bit on Monday about jam etiquette and how it's a little different everywhere, and sometimes in Irish sessions, there aren't any solos or anything like that for the most part.
It's true,
but they can be pretty subtle. And sometimes we were talking, and Lewis was saying in bluegrass sessions, and this is totally the case, that sometimes you'll be playing along and somebody will just glance at you.
Yeah, you get that look.
Yeah, so go for it. So maybe you'll see some of that as we pass things back and forth today.
There was someone who commented that they were at a bluegrass jam right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Lewis says he's at a bluegrass jam right now. Incredible.
On a lunch break.
Yeah. Wow, that's really packing it in.
Yeah. Incredible.
All right, people from all over.
Lewis, you got to let us know what bluegrass musicians eat for lunch.
Yeah. That sounds like a joke. What does a bluegrass musician eat for lunch?
Yeah.
Whoever can come up with the best punchline to that wins. So we started off there with a little tune called Chinkapin Hunting. Mm-hmm. I think it's on my website, but I'm not sure.
I'm
pretty sure it is.
We were about to play Boothshot Lincoln, but then last night I flew from Michigan out here to Maine, and I was listening to Baron's Clawhammer Banjo album, and he records Chinkapin Hunting on that album. I said, why don't we play that?
Yeah, so that's a great tune. I hadn't thought about it in a while. So maybe we'll play some Boothshot Lincoln too a little later. James says, welcome Noah. This fits with a question I was hoping to ask about how to structure harmonies on mandolin. Ooh. Maybe Noah could speak to that because he's a harmony master.
Structure harmonies. I'd be keen to hear a little more about what you mean. But thinking ahead is one fun way to spice up your harmonies. So for example, that you can substitute the 6 chord, the minor 6 for the 1 chord. That's Chinkapin Hunting with an A. But you could do. So instead of just starting on the 6, you could do something to prepare it a little bit. So if we go from the A on Chinkapin Hunting, 3, 4. So before the 6, I threw in a little minor 3 that just says to our ears, oh, a new chord's coming up. So it gives your ear a little something to follow on. So it's not just thinking what chords can go where, but how can I build a little story out of it?
Yeah, and the way that's totally in line with the question, but I was also wondering if maybe he meant like melodic
harmony lines.
Harmony lines,
Yeah.
which is also a specialty of Noah's.
Yeah, can we do it a little slower?
Yeah. You want to do the A part?
Yeah.
This is like the example.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah, so that's basically playing down the third, so following the exact arc of the melody, but using notes in the scale that are 2 notes lower. So but then taking some, if I did it literally, it would be
Oops.
so yeah, so it doesn't make for a very interesting line. So from there I start to think, how would it make a more pretty melody if it was on its own? You know, give it a little more of its own shape instead of having it be a slave to the original melody. So you get a harmony part that has its own character, but is still completely related to the melody.
Yeah, and also it turns into a very melodic harmony part rather than just having, something that's either really kind of locked in on like a structural level of like, I'm always going to play third below or always third above. Mm-hmm. But it kind of, has its own character and own melody of its own. Thank you, Andrew, for the super chat donation. And he also says, hello from Minnesota. Emin is Minnesota, right? I think so.
Minnesota? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'm not so good with the
Minnesota.
The abbreviations. But it says, do you know Tarbolton? I don't know it off the top of my head. I know I've heard the name.
It's Irish, right?
It's an Irish tune. I don't know how it goes, though,
we
unfortunately.
should learn it, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's one that's... And I may well know it, I just don't know it by name. I would say more than half of the Irish tunes that I know how to play, I don't know how to start, and I don't know what they're called. And I probably only know like 80% of how it goes, but I could maybe fake it. Antoine says, thanks, MandoLessons. Just starting to play mandolin for 2 months.
Woo!
Congratulations on the 2-month Mandoversary, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, I wonder why you chose the mandolin in the first place.
Yeah, it's because it's the best instrument.
It is true. Yeah.
Errol says, you ever come to the UK? I was in Ireland a couple years ago. And that was about it. I don't get there often, but it would be fun to go.
Yeah, I haven't been in ages.
Yeah,
I was in Ireland as well.
Nice.
We should come up with a reason to get out there.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Hello from the Pacific Northwest, Arizona.
Hey, Ray.
We got Ray, Mary, Christopher, all kinds of folks today. Mr. Cough Drop, good to see you.
Someone said fine times.
All right, yeah, we can do fine times.
Thanks, Lewis.
Judah says, so glad to have you here. Love listening to you guys. I love all the tunes you've written. Yeah, this guy writes good tunes.
Aw.
Oh,
thanks, Judah.
Yeah, thanks for. Would we mind playing Elvira's Waltz?
I could play it.
Noah can play it,
Yeah.
and I don't really remember it, but we'll put Noah in the hot seat here, and I'd love to listen to him do it. Mandolin oranges, all right.
We have a delicious fruit. Oh, maybe that's what bluegrass musicians eat for lunch.
Oh yeah, there we go. Mandolin oranges.
Mandolin oranges.
Perfect. Christopher wins, unless somebody. I mean the contest is still open, so whatever. Keep thinking, but that's good. Mandolin oranges is gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah, there are a couple versions of Chingapan hunting.
Do you know the other one?
No, do you?
Yeah.
Let's go.
They're both on my website. It's in D. I bet you could pick it up pretty quick. So there's another Chinkapin hunting. That one's also on my website. There's also a couple tunes called, I think there's a tune called Chinkapin, and there's a tune called Chinkapin Pie.
Is it a mushroom?
It's a nut.
A nut.
It's like a tree with a nut.
Oh.
Yeah. I've never had one myself, but I've heard good things. Mandolin oranges washed down with corn liquor.
Christopher got the right idea there.
Oh yeah.
Mandolin.
Let's see. Hey Noah and Baron, could you play "Girl I Left Behind Me"? Great too. Let's get a little bit of Elvira's.
Sure.
I would love to hear you do that.
Who requested that? That was really sweet of you.
That it might have been Judah. Yeah.
Thanks, Judah. That's the treat.
All right, let's see. Catch up with the chat here a little bit.
Oh, we gotta play Fine Times for.
Oh yeah.
For Lewis too.
Yeah, Fine Times can definitely happen. We've got also a request for "A Girl I Left Behind Me,"
which I don't know.
Oh. Just think that They Might Be Giants song.
Or Dixie. The chords on the B part, how do they go exactly?
It's G and G.
that tune before.
Oh, yeah. It's so Noah and I are both great, big fans of They Might Be Giants, and They Might Be Giants is a song about the sun and a lot of physics that I'll play you later. Can't do it because it's copyrighted and YouTube would shut us down. But
yeah, I've never heard that one.
I'll show it to you after the live stream. It's great. Look, I forget what it's called. I think it's called "The Sun Is Hot." Maybe.
Probably they've written thousands of songs. I don't know.
Let's do a little bit of. Just want to make sure I'm getting all this stuff in my head. We've got Fine Times request.
Hot wings and blue cheese dressing.
Oh yeah, for
Lewis,
one.
you got it going on.
Yeah, I'll be right over.
Explain if you can why there are two distinct versions of chinkapin hunting, one in D and one in A. What's the story?
I don't know what the story. I think that's very common with tunes, whether it's old time or Irish tunes. You'll have tunes that have the same name that are totally unrelated, and you'll have one tune that has multiple names. I think it's just there's a general. I don't know if it would explain. It would be kind of the opposite from the situation I'm about to talk about. But back in the early days of recorded music in like the 20s and 30s, there was a big push for recording engineers to kind of get the copyright on particular music. So, fiddle players, and there's a big kind of surge in popularity in traditional folk music, especially from the South of the U.S. And so people, recording engineers would bring in musicians and say, "Hey, do you have anything that only you play, or that you wrote, or things like that?" And in order to get like kind of new copyrightable material, so fiddle players would come in and say, "Oh yeah, I have this old tune called something," and they would just make up a name, and then because no one was really kind of checking if the music itself was different, they would just make up a new name for an old tune and get copyright on that. So that's where sort of the two names for one tune comes from. And in terms of two tunes for one name, I don't know. I think it's maybe just
Over the Waterfall or the Rolling Waves. There's a few tunes
called that,
right?
The Rolling Waves. There's a couple Irish tunes called the Rolling Waves, and one of them is also called the Lonesome Jig.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. It's a common thing. I don't always know the answer.
It's also that maybe this is just a pet theory, but imagine you've got a tune that travels, I don't know, let's say from New England to Appalachia or something, and people have been playing it, and they say, "What's that tune called?" And they, oh wait, no. I feel like it's pretty probable that you would have heard a tune name before. Like The Girl I Left Behind. That's a name that's kicking around your head. And you're playing a tune, you don't know what the name of the tune is, and someone says, "Hey, what tune is that?" And you might just say, it's probably The Girl I Left Behind, even though that's already another tune. So these names can kind of snowball and collect multiple tunes.
There's actually a great other version. I think maybe I get a little confused on the names, surprisingly enough. But there's like a minor version of Girl I Left Behind Me. Yeah, it's like very similar sounding, but it's, and then it kind of goes a little bit more major in the B part, kind of related. Anyway, yeah, the whole world of traditional music and names is a big fuzzy mess in a great way.
I at one time, James, I knew Half Past Four.
Oh, me too.
Which is a killer tune.
Yeah, we should get that one off on our fingers. I just heard a version of it the other day, but I can't remember how it goes.
Right?
Maybe.
It's got a cool A part. If we have a moment, we should maybe listen to it and try to remember it. But thanks, Earl.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Kind hospitality. All right, Ben from Washington State saying, "Enjoying my new Collings MT2. That's a great mandolin. Gibson A2. Oval hole love here. Awesome. This is just an A, so it went like A junior, which was no frills, very little binding, and then A regular, like no number, which had a little more binding, and then A1 was a little more fancy. A2, A3, A4, and then A5 was F holes, like the F5. But this is this is a 24A. Yeah, straight A.
I'm playing Baron's Ellis because I left my mandolin in Michigan for ease of travel.
Makes it easier not traveling with instruments.
If money was no object,
what mandolin brand would you all get? That's a good question. I mean, I feel like I've played a lot of mandolins, and I've never really found anything that I like better than my Ellis. I kind of totally lucked out with it.
Did you get that Gibbons mandolin?
I didn't. No,
Oh.
I'm always looking, but there's always great deals on Mandolin Cafe. But we actually played some Givenses when we were at Elderly Instrument a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
they were beautiful.
We played everything they had. If money were no object for me, I would probably pick up an A style Ellis mandolin like Baron has. We at Elderly, we played all the mandolins, and the 3 Ellises they had there, I think definitely stood out for us. I would also maybe get so the mandolin I usually play is a Pava mandolin, and they do a mandolin that has wood binding, sort of sustainable wood binding and plastic inlay instead of mother of pearl. And I played one of those, and it sounded amazing. So maybe an oval hole Pava sustainably whatever mandolin.
Yeah.
I played one and it sounded awesome, but I'm pretty happy with the mandolin I have.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do with the mandolin that you've got to sort of like change the sound. You can try different strings or different picks or get it. I often say like a $5,000 mandolin or a $200 mandolin with a good setup is gonna sound and play better than a $5,000 mandolin that's poorly set up.
We got a strum/chop question.
All right, let's see. It always jumps down, so I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Stay A2, take a break, do. What mandolin?
Thanks, Earl.
Piteous. Yeah, those are great.
Is that the one that's shaped like a shell? It's got some kind of. We played one Elderly, right?
Jacamel?
No, it was gray, right? It was gray and it had a maple bridge. It was really out there looking. It was kind of artisanal. Remember.
I think Apitius does pretty straight ahead, like A style, F style stuff. But maybe I can't. This. My favorites on the mandolin. Can you show us how to get a better hybrid strum chop? Sure. All right, so the way I kind of approach it here is I think like first off kind of getting the basics of both. So getting your whatever your kind of classic go-to strum pattern is really lets the instrument ring out, and then also getting a good foundation of chop, working on that. There's lessons for both of those on my website, kind of getting a good strum sound and a good chop sound, and also working on different ways to mute. So for example, I love this A chord, 2-2 open open, and it's a great sound and it works really well with chopping, but you can't use that traditional chop mute by just like releasing the pressure in your fingers. You get this, and those high strings still ring out. So there's a couple other ways to mute. You can use your left hand and I just let my fingers fall on the instrument, or you can use your right hand. And then from there, I think Sam Bush is the master of kind of this sort of hybrid strum chop style. It's a great sound because you get a bunch of different, you get, like you said, that strum. I like calling it the hybrid strum and chop. I never really have a good name for it. I always just kind of call it the Sam Bush thing. But so I've kind of got ringing out, and then I'm coming down and muting with my right hand, and then I'm coming with some kind of syncopated upstrokes.
And from where I'm sitting, when Baron does that downstroke, his whole palm is really
I end like
here.
Really like this.
So if you do it with no chord, it's just. And it can be good to practice, just as Noah was saying, with just your right hand,
because it won't sound particularly good, but you can really focus on whether you're muting all the strings. Yeah, I've never done it just with my right hand.
It's pretty telling.
Yeah.
But that's not really a technique that I use a lot.
Yeah. So that sort of little syncopated thing I was just doing, we got strum, so it's down strum, let it ring, come back up, and then you're going through, getting a little of that chord, but then muting it pretty quick with your right hand. So it's.
And it's important to note that the chop is fast. You're through all of those strings.
Because if it's slow, it sounds like this, which is cool too. It's a little less percussive though. Yeah, so as fast as you can get through all those strings, and then the kind of the syncopated section is upstrokes. It's all upstrokes, and so it's up and really quickly just dropping your unused fingers in your left hand onto the fretboard. That's a good exercise on its own. And then so you're putting it together, you get. And then I'm just ka-chunk, no note value whatsoever.
You can't be scared. You can't be scared of breaking a string or anything.
Yeah, mandolins are tough. You gotta push them. There's a little bit of fine times. Got to sneak that in there before Lewis has to go back to class. All right, cool. I think we're pretty much caught up here.
Are we?
At least up to here. It's always hard for running the chat because it shows us what's going on, but then occasionally it'll just jump down to whatever's newest, and you have to scroll back up to find what's going on. All right, Oceans of Music, good to have you here. Yeah, the sun is a massive interstellar gas, a gigantic nuclear furnace with hydrogen that turns into helium at temperatures of millions of degrees. Hello from West Virginia, David Shaw, good to have you here. Oop, there it goes.
Ooh,
yep.
it jumped again. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
Fun to keep up. You all know the Irish reel of Virginia? Not the
don't.
U.S. barn dance.
Do you? Can I play your guitar?
There you go, a little bit of the Virginia. One of my favorite Irish tunes ever. I'm pretty sure it's on my website, but I'm honestly not sure. If not, it should be soon.
Well, we should do a tenor guitar album together.
Oh yeah,
That's a great
sign
idea.
me up.
There's something we could play on tenor guitars?
Oh, probably.
Fat backbeat on the Mando.
If money was no option, you got to go with the Lloyd Loar Gibson. Yep,
Yeah.
that's kind of the Stradivarius of the mandolin world. Might as well have one of those, you know.
You gotta get the right one though.
It's true.
I played one and it was kind of floppy.
Huh.
It was kind of just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
so you gotta get it set up and everything by the right
get it
person.
dialed in.
Shove that
Not many
pig's foot.
tune requests. How about shove that pig's foot? Yeah.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Oh, it's in G?
There it is, a little pig's foot.
You started your solo so deliciously low.
Yeah,
And so I had to jump up here for
yeah,
comping.
I like
Because
that.
if I had been like, you wouldn't have been able to hear the solo.
Yeah. The Fox. That's one that probably would get us a little bit of copyright strike, but it's a great song. That's the song. That's the tune. So just Tom for Jesus says the Fox by Nickel Creek is a request. Can't do it because of copyright reasons. Although it is a traditional song, it gets a little messy when you do it in the style of Nickel Creek. But that's the song that made me play the mandolin.
Ooh.
I heard it. I heard Chris Steele playing the mandolin. I didn't even know what it was. I was like, what? What is that instrument? It doesn't sound like a guitar. It doesn't sound like a violin. My friend said, it's a mandolin. Hey, I got one. Let me show you some chords. Christopher Mallow says, I use a 1.0 millimeter pick. Should I go with a heavier pick as better for hybrid strum chop? I find heavier is harder for me just when picking. So this is a good question because we're actually both doing different things here. Noah's got a 1.5 millimeter pick.
I usually use a 1.5 or 1.4. Honestly, I use whatever Baron gives me. So in this case, is this a prime tone?
It's a prime tone, yeah.
Dunlop prime tone, which is pretty similar to a blue chip. I have trouble telling them apart. But I like chopping with the heavier pick because when I chop with a lighter pick, the pick bends, right? So it goes, and you get this kind of flappy, like it sounds like you're shuffling cards or something. If I chop with a heavier pick, the sound is more instead of so again with the softer pick. Heavier pick. It feels more cohesive to me.
So that's a good it was great to hear that. I've never really thought about it in terms of that language specifically. It was great to hear. And just for context, that was a pretty big variation. So he had a 1.5 millimeter as a thick, and this is a 0.6. So this is pretty floppy.
Where's the camera here?
Yeah, it probably won't be in focus, but and then I'm using. So I use that pick on that mandolin. On this, so this is being an older instrument from the 20s. It's kind of more lightly built. It's got lighter strings on it. So I tend to go kind of middle of the road. This is a 1.14, but it's made out of nylon. It's a nylon pick. But nylon's a little kind of bendier to begin with. So I think it's probably about a 1.0 in terms of flexibility. And so it's kind of like a middle ground. I use this mandolin a lot for Irish music, where a little like kind of brighter tone is kind of what I'm going for. But in terms, it's kind of like it's middle of the road. So that's what, if you're using a 1.0 pick.
It's good for the triplets too.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives it a little bit more. And as a reference here, this is the thin pick. And then if I can borrow that, this is a thicker pick. Just kind of mutes it in a way that is not exactly what I'm going for. I don't do a lot of chopping on this mandolin generally. So
the other thing is that with a thin pick, it let me get it just right here. I keep putting my head in the way. It bends, you know. So when it hits the strings, the pick moves, and when I'm playing, I don't want my strings to move the pick. I want my pick to move the strings, and so I use a thick, unyielding pick, and then all the more bendable flexibility comes from my fingers and my wrist.
Ooh. The jump. Patrick has a request for Ook-Pick Waltz, which is a great waltz, but unfortunately it is copyrighted. I can't remember who wrote it. Some Canadian fiddle player who I'm totally blanking on their name right now. It's a great tune. It's pretty easily findable on the internet. I bet you can even find mandolin tabs out there somewhere. Bill Monroe played it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Great tune.
Sorry, Patrick.
I wish I could remember who wrote it, so I could just throw that name out there. Fine job. Times 2.
Nice one, Denise.
Yeah.
Times 2.
Lunch break is over. Watch the rest later. Good to see you, Lewis.
Bye, Lewis.
Have fun at your camp.
Thanks for the heart, Mary. James, you got the right idea with the
a collection. Mandolin collection. Something on tenors.
Request number 2 for tenors.
All right. Speaking of higher chords, maybe a tutorial on playing chords up high. That's a good request. Basic chord shapes and variations. Leather Britches. I can never get that one right. It's got.
I never heard of a tune called Leather Britches.
There's my favorite version of. I don't know how to play it that well. I think I have a lesson for it, but I kind of learned it for the lesson and have since forgotten it. My favorite version of that tune is on John Hartford's Aeroplane album. Vassar Clements is playing fiddle. John Hartford's backing up on some banjo. Doesn't get any better. So yeah, we could probably do some double tenor stuff.
Yeah, let's do double tenor.
Just want to catch up with the chat here. Thinking about picking up a mandolin.
Legacy catch up.
Do you think this is a wise decision? Yeah, mandolin is a great instrument to start with. It was my first instrument. I was gonna say it was my first mandolin. It's what I love about the mandolin is it's got a really easy entry level. You know, like anyone who picks up a mandolin can have 3 chords and a scale or 2 under their fingers in 20 minutes, half an hour. Even if you've never picked up an instrument, you know, there's a lot of 2-finger chords. I find guitar a lot harder to start out with, 6-string guitar, because your chords are much more kind of stretched out. On mandolin, you learn one little shape, and you've got 2 chords, and then one more, and you've got another couple. Great. It's a great instrument to start out with, and it'll, you know, keep pushing you. So, you know, there's a lifetime of information to learn on the mandolin. It's used in all kinds of styles of instrument, or styles of music, and highly recommended.
Portable too.
Portable.
And,
that is a big thing.
You can find a good one for pretty cheap.
Cold, frosty morning. Yeah. Have Dog Will Travel. Good to have you here. 1.5 millimeter Tortex with a Tortex nut gives the mandolin a nice soft tone. Yeah, it's good to find what you're looking for. Big Sciota, great tune. You know that tune?
I do, yeah.
Maybe we could play that on tenors.
Yeah.
Cool. Judah's been doing some lessons or some videos of tunes that I've written, and he did one on a tune that I've pretty much since forgotten called the Modal Yodel, which is on my website. But you never heard that one.
No, I'd like to hear it though.
I can't remember how it goes.
So we got high chords, we got Cold Frosty Morning, we got Big Sciota.
Big Sciota. Cool. So play us a little something. I'll get some tenor guitars out.
Ooh. Okay, let's see. Well,
let's put you on the spot.
For high chords, one super easy place to start. I recently saw this reverb video with Sierra Hull talking about octave equivalents, basically. So one great way to start playing higher on the mandolin is to realize that everything that happens down here just repeats again here, and repeats again here, and repeats again here. Oh boy. Got the rusty one out. So, for example, if you play an A chord, you know that second fret here is your A. You know, G, G sharp, A. So your A chord starts with an A in the root. If you want to play a higher one, you just find the A that's higher up. So, and a little exercise you can do is just think about a note that's low on the mandolin. Here's C. Where's another C? There's one here. There's a C here. There's a C here. There's a C here. So you kind of get to know your instrument a little bit. Say, okay, I know the notes on these frets, but can I get a little better acquainted with these frets? So when you know you have an A voicing that starts on an A note, you can move that anywhere where you have an A. Yeah. So you find your notes and you can build your chords up from there. So if I have an A that starts on C sharp, anywhere else that I have a C sharp, I can use that same exact voicing. So if I just spend a couple minutes a day getting more acquainted with the fingerboard, then when we're jamming on something, I don't have to hunt and peck for my which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do that kind of stuff while you're watching TV or while you're in the loo, maybe if you're bold. And then or sometimes I do it when I'm trying to fall asleep. Sometimes I'll think about the fretboard of an instrument. That usually puts me right to sleep. Is I'll visualize the fretboard of the mandolin and start saying, okay, A flat right here. Oh, there's another one right here. Below A flat's G. G's down here. If I want to make a G chord, I can do it, and then then it's morning.
That's all I could do for like probably 15 years of my life. Was I would as I closed my eyes and like went to bed, I would just like visualize the mandolin fretboard, like almost against my will. Like I didn't have much of a choice really. I would just close my eyes and think about the fretboard. All right, so we got some tenor guitars here.
Can I play this one?
Yeah. Let's go play this one.
I'm intrigued. So tell the people what we have.
All right, so
all of these instruments are Barons, by the way.
Noah's got a 1937 Kalamazoo KTG-21. It's the same model and size as that 6-string we was playing earlier. This is just the tenor guitar variant, so 4 strings, GDAE. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. And I am playing a 30-something National Triolean tenor guitar, also tuned GDAE. It's a resonator, so it's all metal body.
Playing Sciota, right? The key of C.
G.
I almost wanted to go into like a quick Coleman's March.
this is fun. All right, we're getting towards the end of the hour. I'm just gonna catch up with the chat real quick. Yellow Rose Farm, Ted, good to see you.
Nice blue jay.
Yeah, it is a
Avatar.
very nice blue jay.
What's up, Uncle Bobby?
I think we're mostly caught up here. Big Sayona. We've got some nice background jams while we catch up with the chat. Alright, Photo Finn, Ted's brother, good to see you here. Yep, tuned like mandolins. GDAE, just an octave lower. Octave mandolin tuning. I also tuned some tenor guitars GDAD, which is a little more open sounding. What's the instrument behind you next to the fiddle? That is a bouzouki, an Irish bouzouki, tuned GDAD, like I tuned some tenor guitars. Whew, my brain is getting fried.
Want to play a quick
Whisper
one now?
before break. So yeah, let's do one more thing here. All right, Yellow Rose Farm, see you at Fiddle Hell. Yeah, Fiddle Hell's coming up next weekend in Massachusetts, Westford, Mass. It's gonna be a good time. Hope to see some of you there. Looks like I'll see Ted
I wish I could be there.
next time. So now we're gonna do a little play along jam where the tune from last week was, I believe, Lewis's request, but I can't honestly remember. It is Banished Misfortune. It's a kind of notey Irish tune. And the way that it works is we'll kind of pass it back and forth. We've never done this with two people on this side, but we'll figure it out one way or the other. Maybe one of us will play octave mandolin, or if you want to play tenor, or
I'll play
tenor.
tune.
Great, yeah, that seems in tune. And yeah, so we'll play it. If you don't know the tune, it's available over at my website, or just pick up whatever you can right now. There's a full lesson for it if you want to learn it after the fact. There's chords to follow along with over there as well. It's a great way to just hear a new tune and try to pick up what you can as we go. If you know it already, but you're just working on it, it's a great time to just play it through a bunch of times. If Banished Misfortune is old hat to you and you're kind of bored of playing it, see if you can add some ornaments, double stops, melodic variation, improvisation, things like that, and just have fun with it. Try to challenge yourself wherever you are at with it. We'll have a good time. You got a space for that over there?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Got a couch full of instruments off screen. All right, so Banished Misfortune. Key of D Mixolydian, which is kind of like D major, but all your C's are natural, except not all your C's, because it's an Irish tune, so there's some low C sharps and such in various places. Oh yeah, and right there too. So here we go. We'll start out playing the melody. You play the chords and get a feel for it, and then we'll pass it off to you. Not too fast. 1, 2. Here we go. 3-part tune, C-part. Here we go. You play the melody. take it.
What time?
C part.
Oh yeah.
Everybody play the melody for the second B. C. All right. Oh, I'm seeing that there's some clock turning back miscalculations here. Yeah, we're gonna change our clocks tonight, I believe. I'm always bad with that. But if you missed this or couldn't catch the whole thing or want to watch old ones, they're all on here on the YouTube. Also, you can find them. There's a little link on the left-hand side of MandoLessons.com where you can kind of look through them all and find those playlists. You might need a little updating. I've been a little behind lately. But thank you all so much for coming. If you got a request for next time, let me know what you would like to do a play along for next time, and we'll hopefully it's something pretty straight ahead and on my website. And we can do that next time. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thanks to Noah for being here. It's always a real treat. It's fun to do a live session with two people.
Yeah, this has been a ball. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me, Baron. Thank you all for chiming in, and please show Baron some love for doing all this for you. It's really inspiring to see, and to see how engaged y'all are. So keep it up, and I hope this has been helpful.
And if you want to keep up with Noah, you can check out his website, noahfishmanmusic.com.
That's right. I'm on the Instagram and Facebook too. You can find me basically anywhere.
Yeah. So Out on the Ocean. That's a great request. I always need to check. There's been so many of these now that I need to make sure we haven't already done one. Thanks to Denise. She keeps things fairly very organized for me. I'm just not organized to use it to its fullest potential. So let me just look through you can also find these guides that I'm looking at right now on MandoLessons.com under that green little button on the left-hand side.
Green little button on the left-hand side.
But I don't know if we have done Out on the Ocean. It's just taking my computer a little while to load this really long document that Denise has put together for us. We're like 33 pages.
I thought I might have seen it actually. Can you do a search for?
Oh yeah, Out.
Oh, there it is.
You see it?
4011.
Oh, but that's me just playing it. We got to look for the
We've got a whole system.
Oh
here.
yeah, we got systems. Next week's jam is Out on the Ocean. Okay, so yeah, we did that. Episode 36. If you want to go play Out on the Ocean. So great request. Let's see if anyone else has got other things. Rose in the Heather. There's a tune that I'm sure we haven't done already. I don't know if it's on my website. It should be, because that's like one of my favorite tunes of all time.
That's a tune I've never heard.
Oh, I can't remember how it goes, but I'm pretty sure it's on. Let's see. I'm going to look it up on my website here. Please be on the website. If not, it's a grave oversight on my part. Oh, not on the website. I think we should do it anyway, and I'll make a lesson for it soon. You can look it up. It's going to be all over the internet. It's a classic Irish tune, The Rose in the Heather. There, that's fun because then everyone will come with a slightly different version. And I can't remember how it goes off the top of my head. Yeah, great tune, an Irish jig in the key of D. This will be a fun little experiment because we'll all learn it from different places because there's no lesson on the website, but it is easily found. So let's do that, and that'll give me some reason to get it up on the website because it really should have been there already. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I won't be doing one. Oh, thank you so much, Errol, for the super chat donation. Really appreciate it. For everyone that's doing super chats and PayPal donations and Patreon members, we got tons of all those people here in the chat. Couldn't do it without your support. Thank you so much. I'll go take Noah out to lunch now with all these fine super chat donations. There's not going to be one next week because I'm going to be at Fiddle Hell in Massachusetts. Hope to see you there if you're local. But then maybe the week after that, I'll be around. Keep tuned. Tune in. You can always check by coming here on Saturdays. And if it has the most recent date up and scheduled, you know I'll be here. If not, I might not be. Or I might just be running behind. Hard to say. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great weekend. And see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.